How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about ChargePoint. I've been getting a lot of messages, people saying, Dre, this stock just continues to dip. Should I sell? What should I do at this moment? Of course, I can't give you guys financial advice, but I'm going to be talking a bit about high conviction and where I see the stock price actually going. I won't waste any more time. Let's go into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for ChargePoint. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $12.65, being up 10.48%. On the low, it tested $11.49, and then on the high, testing $12.66. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 11.765 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 10.942 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day. We did see tech pick up towards the end of the day on Friday, and ChargePoint had the opportunity to benefit from this. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is around 30.57. So again, ChargePoint has been beaten up quite a bit. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So as you can see clearly, it continues to be in a bear market on this strong downtrend. We have been seeing some pops, but one thing that you want to be aware of, and like I said in my previous video, don't be shocked if you see ChargePoint dipping back to the $10 area, especially if we continue to see weakness inside of the market. It was nice getting this strong pop, but we need to see if this can actually hold. So where I'd want to see some strength, the key factor here is to see if it could actually hold this level, especially right here at around 1250. If it could hold 1250, then I'll look forward to seeing a move where it can start getting to around 1350. And above 1350, this is where I'm going to expect that we have the buying pressure coming in and we get to the 21-day EMA around $15.02. And this is where things can get very interesting for this stock. But again, I feel it's going to be very dependent on market conditions. We do have earnings that is coming out on March the 11th. So that is another thing that you're going to want to keep an eye on as well. But just know for a fact, the key is for this week to see if ChargePoint can hold up the $12 level, because if it can do so, then it'll make that move to 13. If not, the stock will pull back and then we can start seeing it traded in the $10 range. So let's see how it performs for the coming week. Let's go into the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for ChargePoint. As we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we're going to take a look at the recent filings for the 28th and as well as the 27th. So we can see here we have World Energy Fund Institutional that purchased 20,000 shares. We also have Amplius Wealth Advisors LLC that purchased 1,000 shares, and we also have ARK Investment Management LLC that purchased 10,232 shares, and we also have ProShares Ultra Industrials that purchased 783 shares, and then we also have Bank of New York Mellon Mid-Cap Multi-Strategy Fund Class M shares that purchased just under 14,000 with 13,975. We see a closed position from Yanni Montgomery Scott LLC, and then as far as for Paragon Capital Management Limited, purchases 115 shares. We also have a closed position from the Bessemer Group Inc., and then that's about it. So now when we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 56.14%, and then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 2.49 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 6 million, updated 3 minutes ago, and then for the short ball fee rate, it is at 0.51%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 27th, 27th, it's at 58.28. And then for the close of the 28th being at 56.14. So one thing that is very clear, ChargePoint does continue to have short squeeze potential. So this is why we have buying pressure coming into the stock. We could see some moves to the upside. But in regards to the selling pressure, we can see that institutions have been accumulating shares. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for ChargePoint. So we see here on the inflow it's at 15.62, and then on the outflow it is at 18.62. So it ended up having an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, it was 0 on the large, on the medium 9.16, and on the small it was 6.46. Taking a look at the outflow side, we can see on the large it was 0, on the medium it was 12.13, and then on the small it was 6.49. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see it was zeros down the board for the past 4 trading days, but we did have an outflow on January the 24th of 636.2 thousand. Now, when we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. But keep in mind, it was very close, 6.46 million versus 6.49 million. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And for the large, which represents whales, institutions, or funds, it was 0. And when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was right around 3.55%. So again, very consistent area for a stock like ChargePoint. We also do know with the volatility we see inside of the markets, we did have a strong run up on the Friday towards the end of the day, and ChargePoint was able to benefit from this. So this is why it's very important that you keep up with the overall sector, especially in regards to tech and as well as for EV plays. Create a watch list if you need to so you can see where the money is actually flowing. So now let's go into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for ChargePoint, taking a look at the price action, I want to see if it could hold up the $12 level. If it is able to do this, most preferably I'd want to see some strength right above $12.50. Holding above $12.50, that's where I want to look forward to seeing a move so we can get back into the $14 level and we can get above $15 right around that 21-day EMA. Things begin to start looking bullish. If we end up still seeing weakness inside of the market and there's continued volatility and also more selling, then this stock can get down to the $10 range and even down to the single digits. But one thing I'm going to be telling you right now, if you believe in the long-term prospects and you're down to hold this stock for at least 2 to 5 years, then why would you be concerned about buying ChargePoint at the price of $10 or even below that? Especially if you felt comfortable buying this stock when it was in the $30 range or in the $20 range. If you feel uneasy about it or you don't even want to buy in on the dip, then you shouldn't have bought into this stock in the first place. And I want you to use that as a learning experience. So for the next play that you jump into, saying that you have long-term conviction, you won't be making the same mistake. For myself, I have long-term conviction in ChargePoint, and if I can get this stock below $10, you know I'm going to load up the boat because I do believe this company is going to be doing some big things for years to come. Yes, I do understand they're not profitable as of yet, and we know the market as a whole is punishing companies that are going through this phase in their growth cycle. But again, this could provide an opportunity for the people to have high conviction and believe in the long-term prospects. I want to make sure I'm being very clear about that because I think on my previous ChargePoint video when I responded back to a comment, they're saying, man, I put money into the stock and it's going down. I can't believe this. Again, I am not panicking. I am very confident, but again, this is not financial advice. It just shows you how I feel about this play. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. So this is why if you have a lot of volume and there's buying pressure coming into the stock, we could see some moves to the upside. And also, when we took a look at the recent institutional ownership, institutions are loading up on shares. We're seeing this from whales and so forth. So what does this tell you? While retail is selling, we have institutions who are loading up. So again, I'm not going to be making any mistake whatsoever in regards to selling my position. I'm going to hold my position and I'm going to continue to dollar cost average while this stock pulls back. Again, I want to see it make some moves to the upside, but I don't mind loading up on some cheap shares. They also have earnings that's going to be coming out in March. And as a long-term investor, I'm going to keep an eye on that. And if you're a long-term investor, I think you should be doing the same. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I can't wait to see how the stock performs for the coming week.